Robert Hone.
Hi,
Thank
Olga.
you. Thank you for joining us today here at LMC Media.
My pleasure.
For the Sound Shore Family Guide. And Robert is the Director of STEM for the Mamaroneck School District.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, thank you for coming and for telling us a little bit more about how amazing we are, I guess, lucky to have you here. And tell us more, please.
Sure, my pleasure. Well, thank you again for having me.
Thank you.
So in Mamaroneck, we have an amazing STEM program that starts from the moment students enter the district until they leave high school. And so why don't I share a little bit more about our elementary STEM program, which I think is really unique. Mm-hmm. So we have a 6-day cycle at the elementary schools, and part of that 6-day cycle, students get to experience STEM on a regular basis, in addition to the more traditional specials like library and PE. And in those STEM specials, all of our students are in new STEM labs at the elementary school, which thanks to the Mamaroneck Schools Foundation, they've been outfitted with quite a bit of new equipment and new technology like 3D printers. Mm-hmm. Students we get to see a different side of students when they're in the STEM program because it is less academic in a sense, mm-hmm. and they're working on their critical thinking skills and applying it in a very different way. Mm-hmm. And so all of the projects are steeped in this process called the design thinking process or the engineering design process, where students are presented with a problem, and then they're going through the process to keep refining their solution or potential solution to the problem. Mm-hmm. And they discover that some things work well, some things need some improving, but end of the day, it's okay that things need to be improved. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to get to see that different side of students, that they're working their brains in these creative ways. That
is amazing. A lot of this is hands-on, it's critical thinking, it's group work.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of coding that still happens too. So even for our kindergartners, they're coding by way of taking little cars and using tiles, and the tiles are color-coded, and depending on which one they put on the ground, it will do something different. So it will go, it will stop, it will turn right, it will turn left. It's teaching them that idea of like functional thinking, mm-hmm. so that once they get to a computer and they're actually coding, they'll have that process down pat in their brain by way of doing something with the cars. Mm-hmm. But that's just one component of the program, the computer science. We also have like a traditional science component that all of our students get exposed to. In 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, it's kind of helping with the state test. Mm-hmm. But in the lower grades, it's just introducing them to some pure science topics. Mm-hmm. And a lot of engineering takes place within the STEM program too, where they're just building fun things that are solving a problem, like building an elevator, for instance.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens, I guess, in middle school and then in high school?
Yeah, so in middle school, similar to the elementary school where every student is getting that experience, every student is still getting computer science or technology mm-hmm. in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Mm-hmm. It's typically for a quarter. And so they're doing very similar work in which they're working with the design thinking process, but to solve more complicated problems. Mm-hmm. Students walk away having built a website. They build maglev cars. They're still building contraptions to solve different societal problems.
These are all mandatory classes?
Yeah, okay. So both in the elementary school and the middle school, they're mandatory.
Okay, great.
But then once we get to the high school, mm-hmm. after students have seen what STEM could be about and kind of destigmatizing the scaries that come with STEM sometimes, they have the ability to continue their studies at the high school in our brand new state-of-the-art co-lab space, what other schools call like a STEM lab. We took the old cafeteria and split it up into a few different spaces, including a large group instructional space, a prototyping studio, which has 3D printers, a wood shop, a metal shop. Wow. And currently we have our freshman class called STEAM Studio, in which 200 students are using that space, and they're taking like a survey course on design, engineering, computer science, and architecture, all within the span of their first year at the high school. So they're learning about all those different topics, because then when they get to sophomore, junior, and senior year, that's what they can specialize in. You know what? While I appreciated architecture, I really am a computer scientist and want to focus my time on computer science, or any other combination of courses that they can take. Why we find it so innovative that we have that survey course as a freshman is because it kind of mirrors a real world. Think about a computer programmer. They're probably going to be introduced to, or working rather, with a designer on a website or an engineer on the capacity of the network. They have to have some basic knowledge of those other disciplines. They can't just focus in on that one thing that they're passionate about. So that's why we have this new course at the high school, because students get exposed to some basic topics on all those disciplines.
That's so true. And are these all, so again, in the high school, is it more of
This is an elective.
An elective.
Yep, so students opt into that course.
And do other districts have this stuff, or is it mostly just the Mamaroneck High School and the Mamaroneck School District?
Yeah, so some schools have the traditional tech classes that they see in the middle school and the high school. They definitely do not have it at the elementary school. And what makes our high school particularly unique in this regard is our collab. It was, again, funded by the Mamaroneck Schools Foundation. We have state-of-the-art equipment in there that you would see at Ford and GM, for instance, when they're engaging in their prototyping, and you're not going to see that in any other high schools in the region.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's one more reason why Mamaroneck High School is so special.
Yeah.
Robert, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
If you want to know more information, is there more to know? Is there like a website that they can tap into?
So you can find out more about all of our programs on our district's website, MAMK Schools, mamkschools.org.
Okay. Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you.